What is going on? I hope you're doing awesome. This is going to be a quick A/B test on two plugins made by Waves. The first one is Maxxbass, and the second one is RBass. And they both do similar things. What they do is they add the perception of more bass. They do this, via upper harmonics, from what I understand. I'm not going to get into the science behind it or how it's doing what it's doing. I'm not going to show you a sine wave on the EQ graph because they just look too similar. I'm just going to actually give you an A/B test, play back and tell you what I'm hearing and let you decide for yourself. So here is a little track without any Maxxbass and without any RBass. Okay, I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to first engage Maxxbass, and then I'm going to let it play, and I'll switch between the two. Okay, here we go. Here's with nothing. Maxxbass. RBass. Maxxbass. Still Maxxbass. RBass. Maxxbass. Okay, I'm going to let it play a little bit longer now. I'm going to play a little different section here. This is without anything on it. Okay, now I'm going to engage the Maxxbass. RBass. Okay, I don't know what you're hearing, but I'm hearing a pretty big difference between the two. So what I'm hearing is with the Maxxbass, this is set to the frequency 80 Hertz, and so is the RBass. I am actually hearing all of this stuff up here, and if you're not able to look at this, I'm hearing more of the low mids, the upper mids. I'm hearing more of a woofiness and a chunkiness. So I'm hearing more stuff above 80 Hertz. And not necessarily hearing 80 Hertz being reinforced. Okay, what I am hearing with the RBass is a less dramatic version of what's happening with Maxxbass, and kind of the opposite. So I'm hearing more of an accentuation. I don't know if it's in 80 Hertz or if it's around 80 Hertz, but it feels like just a higher boost in EQ around this area. And I'm hearing some upper harmonic stuff, but it doesn't seem to be filling out the upper registers as much as Maxxbass, if that makes sense. So in simple terms, if you want to add something to make your overall mix chunkier, or you want to make some, like your mix translate to laptop speakers, I personally think that Maxxbass is your better bet. It seems to be adding a lot more, and you seem to be able to have a little bit more control. I can, if we go in here, we can just literally click something called PC Laptop, and you can hear it. And then if we want to add back in, let's see if RBass has the same thing. Not really. You don't have as much control. You can set the intensity and the frequency, and that's pretty much it. Let's see, small speaker prep. Let's see what that is. So we're going up to 196. Okay, similar. seems to be leaving, you know, some of the stuff in there. Honestly, I feel like Maxxbass has more control. So really, RBass is going to give you more bass resonance wherever you push this frequency. It's more, to me, it's more like an EQ. And Maxxbass to me is actually, it feels like it's thickening up the mix. It almost feels more like a tape saturation. I know it's not, but it's got that same feel to it. Like if we play back, and then the RBass, see how at 80 hertz you're actually hearing 80 hertz? It feels like 80 hertz is actually being increased as well. So if I were to draw a graph, like if I show you on the EQ, I said I wasn't going to do this, but if I show you on the EQ, I'm not seeing much of a difference here, right? All right. Actually, it does look like there's a little bit more with RBass, but let me show you what it feels to me like I'm hearing. It feels like with Maxxbass, you're getting, let's see, no, let's do this. You're getting, say you set 80 hertz. With Maxxbass, it feels like it's doing this, and then exactly what the picture looks like. It feels like it's adding like that. So it's adding to, you know, a little bit around the area. I would say even a little bit like that, and kind of blending in. So it's adding, you know, these upper harmonics in this range. That's what it feels like to me. The RBass feels more like that, and a little. Does that make sense? Or even better, it feels like that. See, it feels like it's doing the same thing, but in a more concentrated area, and then it kind of falls off. Whereas the Maxxbass feels like it's not as concentrated in this area, and it's just kind of thickening up everything above. Does that make sense? Could be totally wrong, but that's what my ear is hearing. I'm just trying to give you this concept. So listen to it yourself and tell me what you think. So here we go again. Here's without it. Okay, and let me give you a little runaround of what this is. With Maxxbass, you can control the original bass that you have, and then the effect that it's adding right here with this slider. You can decide where this starts to happen, this, you know, crossfade thingy. So you can set it at like 80, 60, even higher. Here, I'll show you what it sounds like. And then if we switch to RBass, you can also up the intensity and change the frequency, but it sounds different. Yeah, the RBass is more aggressive and more concentrated, and it feels like it's doing it. It feels more like an EQ, and this feels more like a saturation. That's the best that I can describe it. Let's set these both to 100 and see what happens. Let's go to 100. We'll turn this way up, and we'll do this at 100. All right. Here's Maxxbass. Here's nothing. This is Maxxbass, RBass. Hear how with the RBass it's dramatically changing that kick? I mean, it feels like the kick is really bumped up. Listen. And hear how Maxxbass just sounds kind of softer and fatter and rounder. So I guess if I were going to EQ, a single instrument, if I were going to add more impact to a kick or a drum set or to a bass instrument, I might go with this RBass. If I was using it as more of a fattening mix technique to add upper harmonics for like a laptop or to just thicken things up, I'd go with Maxxbass. So I hope that answers your questions. And listen to this a few times as I A/B it on, listen via headphones. I'm actually on headphones right now. May sound totally different on bigger speakers or on laptops, and judge for yourself. But that's kind of my takeaway from these two. Anyway. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and as always, feel free to like and subscribe, and have a great one wherever you are. All right, take care.